Going live. I'm live. Hey, I'm live. What do you think of that? It's about time. Hey, I'm live. Hello, everybody. I'm Diana, and this is On a Sick One in America, because we're on a sick one. So I'm live. This is my first time ever live. Wow, I'm live. I can't believe I'm live. So I don't know how many people are out there, but check your messenger. Not all of you, just the one. She knows who she is. Check your messenger. And then we won't be alone. Otherwise, we'll be alone. So we don't want to be alone. I say we because my handsome husband is just off camera right over here. He's my cameraman. And so he will be with me, but he will not be with you. Just the way I like it. So, okay, now when you come on in, just hit up chat and say hello. And I'll answer with my mouth. All right, now we're going to get right to it. As soon as Lucy gets here. Otherwise, there's no point. Where are you, Luce? Just saying. Okay. Should I call? Maybe I should call her. Be like, hey, check messenger. All right, now this is On a Sick One in America, and there's my girl right there. So this is On a Sick One in America, and what this is going to be is pretty much like a news podcast slash show with a bent. We're going to look at current events, and we're going to tie them in with the end times, because I don't know if you realize this or not, but we are definitely in the end times. These are not my notes. These are my notes over here. That was my Wi-Fi password. You don't get that. Okay, so we're going to start off with our verse of the week, and that's what we're going to always start off with. Again, my name is Diana. My husband, Joe, is my cameraman. He's just off camera. Say hello, Joe.
Hey.
And he's also our first guest for the evening. So we'll get to that in a little bit. Our verse is Romans 16:17. Now I beseech you, brethren, mark them which cause divisions and offenses contrary to the doctrine which ye have learned, and avoid them. For they that are such serve not our Lord Jesus Christ, but their own belly, and by good words and fair speeches deceive the hearts of the simple. For your obedience is come abroad unto men. I am glad therefore that you and your on behalf, but yet I would have you wise unto which is good and simple concerning evil. And the God of peace shall bruise Satan under your feet shortly. The grace of our Lord Jesus Christ be with you. Amen. So basically, I thought that this was a really great verse for this week because it's talking about division and offense. And America right now is full of division and offense. That's all you see. That's all you hear. Leading up to the election, ever since somebody came down an escalator in 2015, America has been divided. Since before that, really, because I can remember back in the 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, during the Occupy movement, which I was a part of a little bit, that right after I left California and went to Michigan, Rage Against the Machine played downtown when they had the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, both election years after that. And I wasn't here to get their free concert, but they played because they were protesting corporations taking over our government, which is exactly what's happened. Corporations have taken over our government. You see the indications of it all the time. Now, living in a capitalistic society, why wouldn't corporations take over our government? However, we have to be very we have to be very aware of this and keep that from happening because that's going to screw us in the long run. We are a capitalist society because we produce our goods and we sell our goods. And that's how we make money and that's how we get the American dream. See how that works? So that's why I think Trump was perfect for president because he's a businessman. And when you live in a capital society, a capitalistic society, why wouldn't you want a businessman running the model? Right now, we've had these oligarchs and these elite oligarchs and these political oligarchs, and they've been running the show and the deep state and whatever you want to call them. They've been running the show. They're doing it for power and money. And you know what? We don't want power hungry, money grubbing people running our government. They have way too much government. Do you know that there's 490? 400, is it 490 or 420? 420.
Oh.
420 departments in our government.
Yeah.
Can you name 5 departments in the government? Just go ahead, off the top of your head. Can you name 5 departments in our government today? Me neither. Wait a minute, let's see. DOJ, FBI, CIA, CDC, Department of Education. You know, it's pretty much all you need. Well, Trump has appointed Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy to head up a new department, like we need another one. This is a temporary department, and it's the Department of Efficiency. It's the Department of, it's called DOGE, and I don't know what the J stands for, but it's DOGE, J-E.
The G.
I don't know what that stands for, but anyways, it's the Efficiency Department, and they're going to balance the budget and kill the departments because there's just too much government, and we were not designed as a constitutional republic to have that much government. Way too much, way too many hands in the pot, way too many cooks in the kitchen, way too many. And that's why this is all going the way it's going. Not to mention the fact that look at these people. Okay, I'm not going to do this. All right, you know what? I'm not going to go off too much on a rant. I mean, I will. Give me time, but I should pace myself because I will. I will go off on a rant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so what we're going to get to first, after our verse, division is not what we want in this country, and I'm so glad that 77% of the country voted for Donald Trump because President Trump is just going to be exceptional. And, you know, I believe that God brought him here. I believe that God appointed Donald Trump, and there's been prophecies leading up to this. Seriously, and I'll do that on another podcast. I'll actually bring you the videos of the prophecies. There have been prophecies. One even said that Trump was going to be a trumpet. For God. And it like said all the great stuff, like all the stuff that he's doing, you know, because if people look at it, Trump is really the only one that has been in office and that's going to do. Okay. Very rarely does that ever happen. I mean, look at Obama. He didn't do anything that he said he was going to do. He said he was going to close Guantanamo Bay, that he was going to keep us race free and racism free, and that we weren't going to focus on that. We were going to focus on the content of the character, like Dr. Martin Luther King said. But he didn't. You know what he did? He passed the bill. He repelled the bill for propaganda. So now media circuits can do propaganda. Do you know what propaganda is? Lies. Making up stories and saying they're true. That's propaganda. That's why people aren't suing people so much anymore. Because that's what propaganda is. And Barack Obama started that. He did not close Guantanamo Bay. No, he did not. And let's see. He killed lots and lots of people with drones. I had no idea. He actually killed a wedding party, an innocent wedding party, on accident with a drone strike. You can't make this shit up. He promotes division in this country. That's what he was put there for. Think about it. If you voted for him, how stupid do you feel that you voted Barack Hussein Obama into our White House? Just saying. My opinion. Entertainment purposes only. Now, let's move on, because I swear I will go on a tangent. That's why I needed a podcast, so that I could talk, because I talk, okay? We're a new podcast with a twist, uniquely designed to be for this specific time in history, because it is the end times. It's the end of days. So here on A Sick One in America, we are going to be discussing current events and tying them into the end times. This is an epic time in life. But first, we want to bring in our guest. That way, he can comment on the stuff that we bring in. I'd like to introduce you to Las Vegas native, my husband of 25 years, Joe Lammer. Say hi, babe.
Hi.
Now, he's going to stay over there for him to do to make me look good. Our first podcast, finally. I didn't think we would get to this.
I know, right?
This has been wow.
Well, we did the ones down at the beach.
Yeah, we did. We did. And that was good.
Those were neat.
Those were neat. I liked those. I looked really good on those podcasts. We'll get there. But for now, we're going to ask Joe just a couple of questions so that you guys can get to know him. Because you're going to get to know me. Trust me. I mean, I'm sure you already know me a little bit by now. So we're gonna get to know Joe a little bit. So Joe, you grew up in Vegas.
Yep.
What was the best part about growing up in Vegas?
Well, it wasn't summer. I mean, you know,
Is it true that they can actually fry an egg?
Oh yeah,
No
Oh, yeah.
shit.
yeah. First day of summer. But I mean, you know, when kids are normally getting out of school and they're all, you know, summertime, it was torture. I mean, by the time we got out of school, May, June, it's already 110 degrees.
Oh my God.
You know what I mean? All day,
Jesus.
you know? And then, you know, you got a garden hose you can cool off in and, you know, kick around in some mud or something, you know? I mean,
And
like-
even then, you had to wait for a while for the water to get cold, right?
oh yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
Because when a hose sits out in the sun, for you people that don't live in California or Nevada, I should say, because California doesn't do like that. For you people that live out in the live somewhere else, if the hose is out in the sun all day, it's going to be hot, like melting hot. So you got to let that water run a little while.
That's a heat that a kid should not know.
So that's my second question. That's the worst thing about living in Vegas.
Yes. Best thing would have to be I would have to say I don't know. The people. I don't know.
Well, it must have been nice to like be around everything and have everything like right there as a kid. Probably crave that. I know I would have
Yeah.
craved being like in the city. You know, it's practically like a theme park for older people.
You always had something to do. You know what I mean? I mean, if you wanted to go do your laundry and bowl a game, you know, you could do
Don't
that.
let him fool you. He plays a lot of slots. This
Once
man
I-
can slot
once-
machine
Once
in
I
his
hit
sleep.
21, it was a wrap. That's where you could find me.
Yep.
Then you have to just find which one.
I have actually been out to dinner with this man in Vegas at a very fancy restaurant, and he went to the restroom.
Oh man.
10, 15 minutes passes, 20, 25. I get up to go look for him. I go right to the nickel slots. I know right where he's at. Nickel slots are great because you can still win a decent amount, but you only play a nickel. So you get more nickels in a roll than you get quarters.
Yeah.
So you can play longer. And that's what he does. I don't think this man ever crashed out until he met me.
Yeah.
How much has Vegas changed in your lifetime in the last, we'll say, 50
200%.
years?
I mean,
Yeah.
it's not, I mean, I can barely see the same streets that I walked down.
What,
you
what,
know,
what was it like when you were a kid? What was your favorite street when you
there
started
was
like
lots
hitting,
of desert.
well, when you started hitting the streets, like the Vegas part?
Um,
You were probably what, older, 13, 12?
yeah.
And where'd you start hanging out at?
The Strip.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hung out in front of the Slots of Fun. They had 50-cent Heinekens. You know what I mean? Free popcorn, and we'd sit up there and you know.
Could you get 50-cent Heinekens when you were a kid?
I
I mean, like when you
well,
were,
yeah, I could have.
the first time that you
I
started hanging
didn't
out there.
though. Wink, wink.
Hey, man, statute of limitations is definitely worn out on that one.
Right. No, yeah, that's where we hung out at the mall. You know, it wasn't anywhere that was like outside, and it wasn't during the day. You know what I mean? I mean, as you know.
So you naturally are a night owl because of Vegas.
Absolutely, yeah.
No doubt. I don't what they've turned off the lights maybe twice?
Um,
Once when
probably a
Sinatra
handful
died.
of times. The Rat Pack. Every time one of them guys died,
Even Dino?
yeah, all of them.
Wow.
Yeah.
For those of you who don't know, the Rat Pack, Frank Sinatra, Dean Martin, Sammy Davis Jr., Peter Lawford. Who else was in it? Is that it? That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, pretty much. Wow. That was the times back then. So, Vegas has changed a lot because it's really the corporate now, isn't it?
They've tried to steer it towards, bring your family. And,
Yeah, that was like in the
when
90s, right?
Yeah, when they had the Mirage built and
Treasure Island and
Treasure Island. That's
Treasure
it.
Island and
With
New
the
York,
big
New York.
ship out there, and they had fights.
What was the one across from New York, Excalibur?
Yes.
Yeah, that was really geared toward kids. But it didn't really work out, the kids thing.
Yeah.
Because that's why they call it Sin City. Vegas is Sin City. If you haven't been to Vegas as an adult, you have to go. Because Vegas is a theme park for adults. It is the best time ever, I swear. Just plan on spending money and gambling and staying up all night and having food and getting free drinks. It's really the only place I drink.
I can't wait to go and see the Sphere.
Yeah, the Sphere looks very.
Whoa.
That's changed
really
a lot.
cool.
You have a lot of places down there that you didn't have when you were little, huh?
Exactly.
I mean, to see it grow has to be astonishing.
There used to be deserts that we could get from one place to another by cutting through these deserts. You got to cut through this desert, cross over 2 streets to cut through that desert. Now that's no
so you
more.
had like little squares of desert.
Oh yeah,
everywhere that was like your tunnel system almost.
Basically, where we didn't have to walk out on the main street, we could just cut through this lot right here and shortcut. And,
that's so cool.
But I mean, being a local, you knew about shortcuts like that. But right. I mean, they're no more. There's no open spaces there anymore. No. It's
not
crazy.
even between Vegas and Henderson, which you lived in Henderson. You were born in Henderson, right? I was
born in Henderson, yeah.
Which is just outside of Vegas.
When there was Boulder Highway was the only way you could get into Vegas. One.
Are there different ways now?
Oh yeah, and many.
What is Boulder Highway? The 15 coming in from California?
No, that is 395. No, I don't remember what the number is. But it's not the 15. But yeah, no.
Okay.
No.
Now is Boulder Highway the one that you would go? So that's the one that you've always had to get in, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is that the one that you would find Boulder Dam on?
Yeah. Yeah. As you go north. Yeah.
That's the dam that dams up the Colorado River and provides electricity and water to all of Vegas. I don't know if it does anymore, but
where you can get some dam bait.
Yeah, you go on a dam tour. And they call it a dam tour, and you can get some dam bait later on at the end of the dam tour. And don't ask any damn questions until I'm done talking about the dam. So, it's fun stuff. The crazy thing about the Boulder Dam is that wasn't it the dad, the first person to die constructing the Boulder Dam? His son was the last person to die.
Yeah.
You can't make this shit up.
Right.
Okay. And how did he die? Doing work on the Boulder Dam.
I think the same way. Scaffolding.
So fell off. Can you believe that? So the first man that died way back when, like early 1950s, 1930s. Do you know when the dam was built? We don't know when the dam was built.
I'll fact check that for you.
Why don't you do that for me? Hey, why don't you do that for me?
Yeah, okay.
You be my Jamie.
Got you.
You're going to fact check that for me. When the dam was built, he was the first man that died constructing the dam, in construction of Boulder Dam. And then the last man that died at the dam was, maybe that's why they shut it down. How weird. Maybe they didn't want to mess it up. That was too perfect. I don't know. That's weird because they did shut down the dam.
I was 2001 or 9/11.
Oh, they just closed it?
Yeah.
But they opened it back up since.
You can't go over the dam anymore.
But it works. The dam's open and it's still damming.
Yes. Yeah. Good.
So we're going to be showing videos on here because there's definitely going to have to be something that we react to because I've got some stuff to show you. Let me tell you. Oh, look at that. We got to set up a connection. Isn't that lovely? I'm so prepared. Let me tell you. This is my first podcast, and I took 15, 20 minutes just getting on the podcast because I didn't know how to do it. I didn't know how to get on live. I mean, that sounds ridiculous, but I really did not know how to get on here live. It was so bizarre. So I figured it out, obviously. And here we are. So I know that this is super awkward, and I don't really care because it's only got Lucy out there. Hi, Luce. I love you. I miss you. Thank you for being my friend that watches this today. I so appreciate you. You can just leave this playing in the background.
Yeah.
Okay, so scanning network is not shown. What's going on, Dave?
I don't know. Been having issues with it the last couple of days.
Oh, that's so great. Like, that's so great. So great. We got this. Okay, so we're going to shut this down. Shut this down. Shut this down. We know what to do. Shut it off. Shut it off. When all else fails, reset. Here we go. And back again. If by any chance you have any advice, just throw it in the chat. Otherwise, I'm going to do this. And we're going to try this one more time. This will work. Thank you, God. In Jesus' name we pray, amen. The first tattoo I ever tattooed on myself was pray first. I had this friend who told me that I should put pray first on my tattoo myself with pray first.
I don't have to do private network
What?
and put in the.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm asking if that's how you had to do it.
No.
Oh.
That shouldn't be how I have to do it.
It's new.
I mean,
Did you have to put in the.
you know what? I can reset everything. That's what I should do. Reset, 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 reset. System down here to reset. Reset connection always works.
Oh, there you go.
You want to find that little
Control,
button.
Alt, delete.
Usually everything has a little button or a little mode where you can reset that shit. Ta-da. And that will work. So until then, what we're going to go to now is we're going to go to the LA fires. Los Angeles is on fire. So we're going to start with that.
We are how far from LA?
I don't know. We're about 250 miles south of LA. So we don't even smell the fire. We don't see the fire, but I feel the fire because I grew up here in Southern California, and LA is part of my home. All of Southern California is my home, and LA is definitely part of my home. And I feel that fire. I do. What I don't feel is these celebrities that want to mock my God. And cool, if you're not into my God, that's fine. But you don't have to mock him. You know what I mean? And these celebrities that want to mock my God. And then a couple of days later, after the Golden Globes, where they were mocking God, all their houses go up in smoke. Now, there's some people that, of course, there's people that are not rude entertainers that practice Satanism and, eat babies. There's some that don't do that, in LA. And I feel bad for them, and that's the people that my heart breaks for. But these other ones that are like everything in their Four Seasons or Beverly Hills Hotel.
Right. It's 120 miles.
It's really hard to have sympathy for you.
120 miles.
120 miles north of here is LA. Wow, it's a lot closer than I thought. That's probably why I always thought it was like 200. That's probably why I thought it was longer, but it always seemed like it took a lot shorter time. Now I know why. So that's interesting. Okay, now we're going to do this again. And this is going to work. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. See, that's the song I sing when I'm going to beat you in cards. So watch out for that someday. There it is. Okay.
It's only $40 to go on the train.
$40 to go on the train to LA?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be a lot cheaper now because there's not going to be anything to do in LA because it's burning down. I don't mean to sound so cavalier about it. I'm not. I'm really not. Like, I'm devastated over this. For real. This is, like, not a cool thing that Los Angeles is burning. Hollywood is burning. Rodeo Drive has burned. Right? I haven't even made my first million yet, so I could go shop on Rodeo Drive, and it's burned down. It's like a dream that I will never be able to do now. And that sucks.
How much it is to take a Lyft there?
How much?
Or an Uber? $196.
$196 to take an Uber LA.
That's right.
to Hollywood or LA?
LA.
Okay, that would take you
LAX.
to the middle of LA. Okay, we don't want to go to LAX. Put Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard and see how much it is to take an Uber to Sunset and Hollywood Boulevard. Because that's where I would want to start out at. Okay. So now don't look at my passcode. Which I'm sure you can't see because it's all too bright. Here we go. Did she put it in right? Only time will tell. Oh. And we have internet. Yay. Look at that. I put it in right. I'm not a dumbass. Go figure. Now, I have set up a playlist so that we can see certain things and I can show you the inept government, local and state, that are here. They're Democrats. You know, I'm not going to say that that's why they're inept, but that's probably why they're inept. They're absolutely okay. Our governor is Governor Gavin Newsom. He's already been recalled once, and then they let him back in. And it's like, what the fuck are you doing, California? You know, I love the state that I live in. It's the most beautiful state in all of the country, I promise you. But the people that live here, I don't know if the sun sucks their brains stupid or what, but the people that live here are stupid. They say one thing and do another. That's the best as I can explain for California. They say one thing and then they do another. And the left hand usually doesn't know what the right hand's doing, and we're always behind because of it. Now, we've had a state that was ran Republican. And, you know, I hate to go parties like that, but let's face it, you know, we're a two-party system in this nation. And until we get out of that, that's just the way it's going to be. And we're pretty much polarized to that. There's conservatives and there's liberals, and that's that. There's far left, which is, you know, the extreme liberals, and then there's far right, which is the extreme conservatives. And I don't think that I'm on the far right. I think that I was a Democrat when I first started, when I was 18. I started out a Democrat, and I stood there, and I stayed with my beliefs. I'm pro-life. I changed from pro-choice to pro-life in my life because, well, I grew up and I, you know, my head popped out of my ass. And so I'm pro-life, and I'm less government and more, you know, private citizen, you know. There's a reason why they're public servants and we're private citizens. We're private, they're public. They have to show what they're doing. We don't. That's the way it's done in a constitutional republic. We are not a democracy. We have democratic ideas, and we do democratic voting and things like that. But we're not a democracy. We're a constitutional republic because a democracy goes by majority rule. Constitutional republic is each person has their own entity. So it isn't by majority rule, because then you're going to leave out others. It's by your rule, by your rule. And it's a better system, because in a democracy, it goes by majority rule, and some group usually always takes over that majority, and by taking over, and idealizing, indoctrinating with their ideology, some group of people, and leaving out another group of people, and then it turns to an authoritarian government because of that, and then they work it into a totalitarian government, and eventually a communist government. And that's where they put you to work, and they take all of the reward, and you're asked out. So that's why we're a constitutional republic. I have a say in this. And if you choose to do what you choose to do, I don't have to be a part of it. I mean, sure, you have to pay your taxes, and that's kind of bullshit. We should really discuss that with our government too, because don't even get me started on taxes. We don't have enough time for that tonight. But it just,
That's something we should come back and visit, though.
and we should come back and visit the constitutional republic too, because there's so much more to say about it. But suffice it to say that we are not a democracy. Remember that. We're a constitutional republic, and we want to stay that way. That's the way it's been for 250 years. So, all right. So now we're going to go to our playlists and talk about why LA is on fire, and all of the horribleness of LA being on fire. Because, I just got to tell you, this is just heart wrenching. It really is. It's heartbreaking that my LA is on fire. I love Hollywood. It's one of the most, it was one of the most romantic cities for me, because I like entertainment. I like the movie industry and the television industry. I've always wanted to work in the industry, and I never did get to. I think that was probably God protecting me. But, one of my biggest dreams in life was to eat at the Kraft Foods table. Backstage, when you work in television or movies, or music, they set up this table of goodies, muffins and cheeses and meats and whatever you can think of, like waters and sodas, and, just like whatever your heart desires. And they set it up on the Kraft Foods table. And it's Kraft Foods who sets it up. Obviously, you probably gathered that. Anyways, and I've seen my whole life in movies and stuff. I've seen people going to the Kraft Foods table, and getting, and it's just something that has been kind of like something I've always thought about. When you grow up in Southern California, you don't get regular news like you do in the rest of the country. Your news is the entertainment news. So it kind of gets shoved down your throat. So it's what you grow up learning and looking towards, So that was one of the things that I always loved thinking about doing one day. And maybe one day I still will. You never know. So, but I did develop a playlist, and it's not too much in order, but it's in order enough. And we're going to go to the LA fires and see what's going on, because this is insane. What's going on is insane. It's insane. Now, Gavin Newsom is our governor, and I want to start out showing you something. Okay, let's start out with this first. This is Trump and Newsom back when he was in office as President Trump the first time.
He's now calling for the governor to resign over the fires. It is a fight we have seen before during the first Trump administration. ABC 7 News reporter Lauren Martinez breaks down the claims. The catastrophic wildfires in Los Angeles County quickly turned political. On Wednesday, President-elect Donald Trump blamed California Governor Gavin Newsom for decisions Trump thinks made the fires worse.
This is a true tragedy, and it's a mistake of the governor, and you could say the administration. They don't have any water.
The president-elect initially posted on the platform Truth Social, claiming the governor refused to sign a water restoration declaration, something Newsom says does not exist. Trump apparently referring to debates over water flow in the Delta, claiming Northern California could send more water down south. On
They totally
Wednesday
could.
morning, Governor Newsom toured the devastation in Pacific Palisades. The governor had this to say about Trump's attacks.
One can't even respond to it. I mean, it's people are literally fleeing.
We spoke with Cal State East Bay political
Now, you
science
need-
professor.
He's a con man. This man is a con man, all right? When he got into office, and he's been in office for 12 years, when he got into office, we had a surplus of like $100 million or something. Okay? Close to that, right around that. Do your research. We had a surplus when he got into office. Now we are over 2 trillion in debt. Last year, they did a budget. What is that called? An audit on LA County. $24 billion missing. Okay, and he cut over 100 million, or was it 100 billion, in jobs, in funding, and claims that it's going to the homeless. However, we just peaked this month. Are you ready? This month we've just peaked at the highest homeless rate that we've ever had in all of history. In the country, in the whole country. So tell me again how it's all going to the homeless. We're getting more homeless. What are you paying them to come in here? What are you paying them? What are you giving them? You're not giving them shit. He's a con man. You should know that.
Lee about the timing of the back and forth remarks.
I think that wildfires and natural disasters are always going to be political because it has to do with federal funding.
During Trump's first presidential term, he was also critical of California's fire management plans. And on the campaign trail just this past October, he threatened to withhold funds over water issues.
And we'll say, Gab,
I hate liberal media. I hate legacy media. I hate like channel ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, because they're liars. They cut shit out. Earlier, I had a video, and I'm not going to bother trying to find it. You can find it if you don't believe me. I had a video where Trump was walking with Gavin Newsom through the forest because all of these wildfires, we have them every fucking year. Every fucking year in Hollywood, there is the Hollywood Hills, Agora Hills, and that is the forest that they're talking about. Pacific Palisades, all of that. Every year it catches on fire because every year we have the Santa Ana winds that come out of Santa Ana. They come in the wintertime. Our wintertime is November, December, January, usually, approximately, give or take a month. Every year we get the Santa Ana winds, and with every year when the Santa Ana winds comes, there's fires in those hills because somebody lights a fire and it just picks it up and runs with it. The winds usually run, on normal, they run 30 to 50 miles per hour. The really high ones can get up to 90 miles per hour, but you get gusts of like 90 miles per hour, even when you're doing the lower ones at 30, 50 miles per hour, and they're around for like a week. They come and go, but it'll like be windy all day or it'll be windy all night for like a week or two, at least. And that is our winter. Okay. We get rain and we get Santa Ana winds. That's the winter in California. We don't see seasons. We don't get changing leaves. None of that bullshit. We get winter by winds and rain. Well, there hasn't been any rain. That's a whole nother podcast. Trust me on that one. But there hasn't been any rain. However, there has been a lot of wind that's come up, and Gavin Newsom and Donald Trump walked through the forests last time he was in office around 2019. And that's what I was hoping that this would show you, because they showed pieces of it, like when they were walking right here. The thumbnail, when they're walking over here. Yeah, pieces of it they show you, but they don't actually show you what they're saying. This morning they showed you what they were saying. Trump was saying, you need to clean up this forest, but you can't clean up the forest because in LA, the environmentalists are like, no, don't touch their baby logs that fall and their baby leaves that fall. Fuck you, man. Pick up the leaves and the logs so there's not brush all over the fucking place. All right, come on. We're not killing the trees. We're picking up their mess. It's like having your kid mess up his room every day and not picking up his fucking toys. Come on now. Somebody's gonna fall and break their fucking neck. I'm just saying. It just makes no sense to me. So he tells him, clean this up. And then there is mountain ranges that line all of the east side of California that separate us from the rest of the country. And in the central and northern county are the High Sierras. That's Sequoia National Forest, High Sierras. And there's a lot of water that comes down through the High Sierras when winter ends and the snow melt, plus the rains. And we had all these reservoirs with dams that caused these reservoirs for us to save up water. And that's what filled the hydrants in LA. So Gavin Newsom, in his brilliant wisdom, who campaigned on working on stopping the fires, okay, in Hollywood and LA County, in his infinite wisdom, he has decided that he doesn't want to sign the restoration water thing. He wants to save it for the smelt, the stupid little fish that come through that are abundant everywhere and not in any danger whatsoever. Just not here, guys, okay? Because we want this water. We need this water. And he's knocked down our dams, like 4 of them, since he's been in office. Are you fucking kidding me? That's 4 reservoirs that was feeding water into LA for the hydrants and everything else, okay? So he takes those down. Instead of working towards making it better for people, because the fires are inevitable. They're going to be there. But we want to get rid of them as quickly as possible. Hydrants help in that, And so do firemen. So when he does this, the new mayor in LA, this Karen Bass, now I tend to think that her name is something else and that they called her Karen because, well, they knew what role she had. She's a total fucking Karen, right? Karen Bass, who is the mayor of LA, decides in her infinite wisdom, which is of nothing because she just got in. I don't even know where she's from yet. I'll do my research and get back to you on that. But she's a freaking imbecile. She decides to cut the fire department by $1.7 million. She fires 77,000, I think it was. She fires a bunch of firemen and shorts all the fire stations because they didn't get vaccinated. We all know that that's a big fucking bullshit now, right? That Anthony Fauci lied about everything. We didn't need masks. We didn't need to fucking lock down. We didn't need to do any of the things that they said that we needed to do. Oh, you didn't know that? Go do your research. This is for entertainment purposes only. So, yeah. I'm not going to even mention what it was. So, she gets rid of them. And now the fire departments in LA are completely understaffed. And as a kicker, 2 months ago, State Farm pulled everybody's insurance. Everybody's fire insurance got pulled about 2 months ago, and State Farm pulled out. $125,000 a month these people put in for fire insurance for their homes. Insurance is a big racket, isn't it? You pay in. If you don't have an accident, a fire, or some other kind of damage, you don't ever get your money back. They get all that money. Well, State Farm didn't even have to deal with it. They were afraid that they were going to have to pay out a lot of money when the fires inevitably showed up. And Gavin Newsom, everybody knows he didn't do shit. He's been fucking raping this town, this whole fucking state for its money. Tell me that the money didn't go in his pocket. He just bought a $9 million home on a $200,000 a year salary. How do you do that? Just saying. See how much it bothers me?
Mm-hmm.
It should bother everybody like this. Whatever's going on in your state, in your city, in your town, pay attention, man. Because I bet you won't approve of some of it. And if you do, awesome. Come fucking help me. Because California is going to shit. And I love this fucking state, man. I grew up here. This is my home. This is where I live. It really is the best state in the world. It's got the most beautiful thing. You've got the ocean and the mountains and the desert all within 2 hours of each other. Where else can you do that? You can't do that anywhere else, man. Nowhere else can you go to the mountains and the ocean and the desert all within 2 hours of each other. It is truly the best state ever. So they're walking through, and he tells him to get all this cleaned up, and he doesn't get it cleaned up. And Miss Karen doesn't get any of her shit done. And so we're going to move on because I don't like that media. We're going to move to this.
Because they're trying to get Gavin Newsom to allow water to come. You'd have tremendous water up there. They send it out to the Pacific because they're trying to protect a tiny little fish.
And people are literally fleeing. People have lost their lives. Kids lost their schools. Families completely torn asunder. Churches burned down. This guy wanted to politicize it. I have a lot of thoughts, and I know what I want to say. I won't.
I don't think Trump's politicizing it.
We go to air tonight. The window for favourable firefighting conditions in Los Angeles is closing fast. 2 wildfires are still burning out of control, with another round of strong winds forecast. The death toll now stands at 24.
Jesus.
The unrelenting firefight from the air. This is a look inside the cockpit of an S-70 Firehawk helicopter as the aircraft dumps water over the Pacific Palisades blaze. A break in the winds offered crews a desperately needed chance to get ahead, and as dawn broke, a chance to search for the missing and work out what's left.
Driving around some of these areas, they literally look like war zones.
Crews are tired, in some cases working up to 36 hours at a time, but they have made gains. The coastal Palisades fire now at 13% containment, while in LA's
13.
north, the Eaton blaze at 27%. But today, the window of reprieve closed quickly. Dangerous gusts picking up again, and they'll only get worse tomorrow, potentially hitting 80 kilometres an hour. This is the huge area of concern. From the
80 kilometers an hour. I don't even know what she's saying right there. That's insane. It's a lot. Okay. Where do we start on these? You know, I mean, I don't really even know where to start on this, honestly, because I have so much to say about this. But let me get to the point of it. Let me get to the true point of it. All right. 2 days before the fire started was the Golden Globes. And the entertainment industry was giving out awards to each other for their movies, you know. And they were mocking God. They always mock God on these award shows now. I don't know if you watched the Grammys lately, but the satanic rituals that they've been doing at the Grammys have been very obvious. Like, you don't get more obvious than this, you know, the red background and the smoke and usually the devil horns and shit like that. I'm not kidding, man. I'm not lying. Do your research. All right. Hollywood is a completely CIA ran propaganda machine that is run by Lucifer himself. I kid you not. And we all know it. You know, they MK Ultra their stars, and we all know the conspiracy theories. To every conspiracy theory, there's a little bit of truth. And if there's even a little bit of truth in the stuff that they talk about with Hollywood, these guys are all evil. Honestly. Don't think it's not like that. That's where we're going to tie in with the end times. Because the Bible says it's going to be like that. And it's going to all be exposed at the end. And that's what's happening. It's all getting exposed. There's over 300,000 children missing from over the border. Over 300,000 children have come over that border, and the number is probably higher than that. That's just the reported number. Over 300,000 children have come over the border, and nobody knows where they are. They're undocumented, so nobody's looking for them really. Nobody can report them gone because there's no documentation on them. They went to sponsors throughout the country, but nobody knows where they are now. Literally. Do your research. The lady was in court and they were asking her, and they said, "Do you know where these kids are now?" And she said, "No. I've been calling, but nobody's answering." Can you believe that shit? Since the open border, when Biden got into office in 2021, the child trafficking business has gone from a already staggering $33 billion a year business, which is more than the airlines make, to a now completely horrific $150 million a year business. Why do you think that is? I mean, let's do the correlation. Let's think in common sense, okay? Common sense dictates that when the border opened up and the cartels started dealing in human trafficking at an astronomical amount, we became a hub for human trafficking. And human trafficking is basically mainly children and women. I know it's uncomfortable and nobody wants to talk about it, but you have to, because for God's sakes, these kids need people to help. If people don't talk about it, people don't know that it needs to be taken care of. People aren't aware of it, and you need to be aware of it. This is a devastating thing. It's bad enough in this country. We kill 1 million babies a year. The least we can do is try to stop the people from selling children for work or whatever. They sell them to work them, they sell them to have sex with them, and they sell them to put them in satanic rituals and kill them. That's the fucking truth. And if you can't handle that, then I'm sorry. But think about what they must go through. I've created petitions. Please go to petitions.gov. Find them. They're there. So that we can get more help out there. That's what The Sound of Freedom was all about. By Tim Bellinger and Mel Gibson. Jim Caviezel was in it. Tim Bellinger is the creator of the Underground Railroad for child trafficking. Now, the reason why I'm bringing in child trafficking with the fires is because a girl who claims to have been trafficked when she was younger, all of her life, Allie Carter, she's been claiming this since the 90s. And, well, let's just say, I don't have the money to buy kids. Do you? Who does? So you can imagine who's been keeping it quiet, right? Because who has the money to buy them? Not you, not me. There are people out there who get very bored and have lots of money, and so they move on to the next big thing, and that's what they do. And they've been keeping it secret. However, she's been fighting against that, along with other kids that have been trafficked when they were younger. And she said, days before the fires started, that they were going to be starting the fires. She said that the fires were coming to hide the evidence. They're going to burn up the evidence of all of the child trafficking in LA. LA has a ton of tunnels. They have a whole tunnel system underneath them. I know it sounds insane. And I lived here my whole life and I didn't know it for sure, for fact, until this last week. So please do your research on that, because I don't have any videos on that either, but I can next time. LA has a whole tunnel system underneath, and it has several layers. And this is where they hide the kids. This is where they traffic them. This is where they bring them back and forth. Believe me or not believe me, but I have tons of proof to back it up. And I'll bring it all on next week. I have MK Ultra trauma trauma-induced control slaves that I have books. I have their books. I have their videos. And these women, the first one, I have her book, and I thought, okay, maybe she's crazy, because it is fantastical, let me tell you. But I really do, especially with Epstein and now Diddy, I do believe that this shit is going on, because I've been praying for the last year since I found this all out. And I've been seeing all these people get busted since I started praying for it. I never saw anybody get busted for this kind of stuff until I started praying for it. Pardon me. So, excuse me. That's part of the reason why the fires are happening. As for anything else, I just know that God is not stopping them. And in Revelation, it talks about the bowls that God's going to pour out on earth. And I don't know if these are the bowls or the trumpets. That's what it is, the trumpet sounding. And I don't know if these are the trumpets, but they're supposed to be first, I think. But let's go to that and I'll see. In Revelation, I believe the trumpets are first. And one of the trumpets, when it's blown, a third of the earth goes up in flames. Now, with that said, I don't think that a third of the earth has to be exactly a third of the earth in one spot. I don't think it needs to be that obvious. A third of the earth will go up in flames. And everybody will come under God's judgment. And I believe it is the, let's see, the mark of God's servants, the Lamb opens 6 seals. Seals, I believe, have already been opened. 4 angels blow their trumpets. The first angel sounded, and where followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth. And the third part of trees was burnt up, and all green grass was burnt up. I believe that that's what's going on with these fires. Part of it is God's allowing it to happen as part of the prophecy, because the judgment comes upon these people for what they're doing. I mean, it's not everybody that, there is there are some people that are completely innocent that got totally screwed in this fire. But mostly it's celebrities, after mocking God, that are getting screwed in this fire. And everything's burning up. And most of them, I mean, I'm going to have to bring all this stuff on next week, because I didn't really plan on getting into this part of it. However, I don't see how I can't when I tie it in with the Bible prophecies. All lies will be exposed, it says in Revelation. All lies will be exposed. And that's what he's doing. He's exposing everything. Because we've prayed for it. Just like we prayed for Trump. Prayer works, people. I mean, I challenge you to try it. Because it works. I know that it's worked unbelievably in my life. I can pray for anything. And as soon as I pray for it, it happens. I pray for my keys. I pray for stupid shit. And he answers me immediately. Whenever I lose something, I look for it and I can't find it, and I get so frustrated. And then I forget that I remember that I forgot to pray. And so I'll pray for God to help me find it. And I kid you not, within 5 minutes, I find it. Every single time. Because that's what he does. He answers prayers. I'll get the rest of that information for you guys next week. Do your research. That's all I got. We're at an hour, so We're going to keep it at that, guys. And we'll do this again next week, I promise. We're going to stay consistent Monday nights on A Sick One in America. I got lots more for you. Next week, not only do I have that, but I have all of the updates on Diddy and Jay-Z and how that ties in with the end times as well. And we'll talk about these orbs that are flying around. Have a good one, everyone.